No, all we did was talking really nicely. As long as I press the button. On the iPad, and it went.
Okay, we have to go and have serious words with him.
We're picking on a bit of a woman role.
But isn't that fun?
And I've been telling him he's invited them all not actually. Oh, no, you've got some lollies.
Oh, the lollies.
They've got the lollies. That's good.
That's good. But that's the point, the idea we wanted it to be fun. You know, when we started the idea for this, I'm one of the groups that set it up, we were going to have a couple of stalls in an RSA, and then we started talking and it kind of got bigger. And that look what we ended up with. We started talking to people.
So, do you belong to like that senior hangouts and all that, do you?
No, it's just a load of mad seniors, a bit bolshy.
So whereabouts are you based?
Well, digital seniors it's part of digital seniors, so they're
what is
based.
digital seniors?
Digital seniors is if you've got, you're using your phone, your computer, whatever, you want some help, we do one-to-one, where people bring their own device and we can help teach them on their own phone.
So where are you based?
They're all at the moment all around North Shore. I'm up in Browns Bay myself, and then we're now expanding it into helping businesses to treat us better.
So have you, the thing is, I belong to senior.
Oh yeah. SeniorNet, I was involved in that years ago because I wrote a book about computers. But what we found is that most people don't want a class anymore. They want the one-to-one help.
Yes.
And that's where digital seniors come in. They got funding from the council to set them up, so they're in libraries and things.
Right.
And they're just coaches one-to-one. Yeah.
Because I give talks to SeniorNet every month on that.
Oh yeah. Oh right. Oh hell. Oh, you should be the one up here doing this.
I don't know about that.
I'm just I'm very much an amateur.
Well,
Who teaches it?
oh my, well, I don't take it. And I stand up there and
Please don't. I'm making this up.
I can't understand. Because it's on a Friday and it gets to Thursday evening and I'm going, oh dear me, what am I going to talk about tomorrow? You all right? No, and then bolt lady. Paid $8,000 for being here. $10. About $90 a month is actually. You only have to have them for every 3 years they
It's really interesting what they're talking about. There's a thing which can help reroute nerves for people with MS and strokes.
I was thinking of today for the back. They were reassured alongside Health New Zealand, so they are private.
your card. And then I've got to scan it at the bottom.
I sent someone to look for you now. We've lost Greg. I sent him round to look for you, so the poor guy's got Good afternoon. Hello everybody, thank you for coming and joining me on my guide to apps. I don't know how many of you oh, you can't hear? Is that better? Yes, sorry, shows I'm not used to public speaking with a microphone. Yes, we'd like to come. This is Anne-Marie, I'm Pam. We're both part of the steering committee that helped to set this up, so I hope you're enjoying it. Today I wanted to do just a little bit about apps, because apps can be really amazing for older adults, because if you've got a phone and you choose wisely, it can make being connected, being safer, accessing services much easier. But we have a real passion for the fact that don't fall foul of younger relatives, friends rushing up and saying, oh, you've got to have that app. It's the most amazing thing since sliced bread. Because if you don't need it, it's a waste of space. And it happens a lot. So my thing about apps is you need to stop and think what is going to make a difference in your life. And what I want to do today, and with Anne-Marie's help, is just to go through a few apps that I've found, but also to talk to you and talk about which ones you find are really useful. Because to me, that's what it's about, and that's what makes a difference. So, next slide. Has anybody seen Grocer? Would people like to save money on their food shopping? Okay, Grocer, and you get, it's really good to take a photo on here. Grocer is an app where you can go on, you can set your local supermarkets, and when you go in, you can scan a barcode or you can put the product in. It will tell you where to get it, how much it is, and where the special offers are. I met a lady in Pack and Save a while ago who was looking for the woolen wash liquid that we always had, that was good for woolies. And of course Pack and Save didn't have it, and she was getting really sort of upset and saying, well, they must have stopped it. And I said, no, they haven't, I'm sure it's around. So I installed it for her and showed her, we put it in, came up with all the different, scents, I say flavours, all the different scents that it had and where she could buy it and how much it would cost. And she was really excited because she said, there's lots of things I can't find now. And so she could go in there. And I personally save a lot on my vintage cheese, which I like. I save $5 because when it's on special, there's a big difference. So that's a really good one I like. Gas Spy is a similar thing for comparing the prices of petrol. And again, you can put in where you are, it'll come up with all the local places. And it's surprising how much it can make a difference, just that odd bits here and there. So these are like really practical things that can make a difference. If you're into someone who likes going walking or you've got a dog, the Met Service is great because it has a rain radar. I used to house sit at one point, and it was fantastic because I could go on there and work out if I had time to walk the dog before it was going to rain. It's great if you're going for a walk as well, you can plan it. It will tell you the weather for the next few days. And I find it's really good. And then I talk to the weather fairy and say, I don't like that. Can you change it, please? Sometimes it works. It's good.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
I was just going to say there's one on there that some of you might know, Manage My Health. Manage My Health is a great app because it enables you to get all your lab results straight away as fast as your GP gets them, even faster. So your GP may not read them for a day or two, or may not look at them until your next scheduled appointment. So this way you get to know if your cholesterol's dropped or not, and things like that. It's a wonderful app, and it actually works. And my message to you is make sure that you're very careful about the reviews on apps, because I know that Pam's tested these, and anyway, she knows there's not too many bugs in them. But quite a lot of apps, if you go to the Google Play Store or you go to the Apple one, you will find that there are reviews. And when you read the reviews, you'll see there's different versions of these apps too. It's quite complicated. But when you read the reviews, you see what other people have found. And when a lot of people don't like an app and they make it very clear that this doesn't work, or it takes too long, or it uses too much data, or all these downstream problems, then you think twice about whether you want to be part of that. But I will say that Manage My App is something that has been blessed by, should we say, the Ministry of Health and its wisdom. It's not an official government thing, but it does have the support of the data kings in the health system. So therefore it is going to work most of the time. If it doesn't work, it won't work for everybody. It will be everybody's problem, and it will get sorted pretty quick. So that way you know that you're not being scammed, or you haven't got all sorts of side issues.
How many of you here travel? Anybody like travel? Have you ever seen Rome to Rio? Rome to Rio sounds very grand, but it works anywhere in the world. And this is an app for telling you how to get places. So it will work in Auckland, but I also use it. I've used it in LA, I've used it in London, I've used it in France. You go in, you put where you want to go, where you are now. It will come up and it shows you the where the buses are. It shows you how much it would take to walk, taxis, but with the cost as well. Trains, ferries, everything. And it's really, really useful. And as I say, it's great when you're travelling because, if you want to get somewhere, it can save you a lot of money if you know where the public transport goes. So Rome to Rio is a really nice one to do. If you're going into Auckland or even around locally, does anyone use the AT parking app? Yeah? The thing is, in the old days, you used to go and you'd put money in and you'd have to estimate how long you were going to be. So you'd say, oh, well, I'll be here for 2 hours, and you'd only be there for 30 minutes, and it's really annoying. With this, yes, you do have to link it to your credit card, but when you put it in, it only charges you for the time you use. So you go in, and then when you get back in your car, you turn it off, and it can actually save a lot of money. But with the parking wardens getting very feisty now and really pushing it, it's a great way to avoid getting done with parking. No, it only works with the Auckland Transport ones. You'll see them around the roads, and they've got a number on them. And when you go into the app, you don't even need to put the number in, you can just put fine, and it will find the nearest parking meter and register you there. It doesn't work with the private ones. They don't want you to save money, they want you to pay as much as you can. Which is true. Anything you particularly want to do?
I'd like to mention one more that's not on the list there, and that's WhatsApp. You've possibly heard of WhatsApp, but you may not be aware of all the advantages of using it. And what I'm noticing is more and more people are having informal groups. They want to meet up with half a dozen people to go for a walk, but they don't want to be a official walking group that meets at this cafe, and they just want to do something in their local neighbourhood, meet at a bus stop or a monument or something like that, and go incognito sort of thing. But you can have half a dozen people on that app, and they can all communicate when it suits them to walk. I use it for my carpooling. When I need a ride somewhere, I have people lined up who could join the group, and if I am in need of a lift to get from A to B, I spell out the A's and the B's and say anybody in the group able to help. And it frees people up because they don't feel pressured to say yes when they don't want to. They can quite cheerfully say, no, I'm busy, but try me again. And it works really well.
Good. There's lots of things you can do, obviously, about entertainment. And, we haven't put them all up here because I'll talk to you in a minute about the ones you like. But for me, I love Audible, which is books, because if I'm driving, I can listen to them, and I like listening to them if I'm sick or I'm in bed, which is a really nice one. And you can build up a really good library with that. Spotify is great if you're into the podcasts and things like that. It's really good. If you know anybody who's dyslexic, you can go and listen to my son's podcast called Truth About Dyslexia. I'm going to promote it because he's about to hit 1 million downloads. So anybody that you know who's dyslexic, get them to go. It's a practical thing for adult dyslexic. But what do you like? You can go on there and there's all sorts of podcasts about health, anything, history. It's a great place to go. What other ones have we got here? Of course, there's the ordinary. Oh, Park and Forget is quite interesting. That's a new one. You go on and you can put in, it will tell you where your car is. I have a thing about the lack of coloured cars. I did a speech for Toastmasters recently about the fact that traffic jams and park-ups are seriously boring. They're all white, silver and black. You can't find them. And I reckon there's loads of people spend hours wandering around, clicking their button just to see if they can find their car. But this apparently helps you to do it. And I didn't know, but you can actually do it on Google Maps. Apparently you push one of the blue circles. I haven't worked out which one yet, but apparently that does the same thing. Because we all lose our cars. Actually, on the side, we're also helping criminals. You imagine it if you suddenly had someone who got murdered and they said, what does the car look like? And they say it's a white sedan. Oh, like they're going to find it? Now, if it was a yellow car, they'd find it in no time at all. So, on all the coloured cars, you'll find them better. Right, what else have we got here? Oh, the magnifying glass one is really good if you struggle, especially in dark restaurants, because it has a flashlight with it as well. So you can see it. I went to a meal and I used it, and suddenly everybody else that was with me, who were a lot younger I should say, wanted to use my phone. So it's really important. Any more that you've got particularly?
I was just thinking that sometimes we aren't very... All right, is that better? Yes. Okay. Sometimes we aren't very clear what we're looking for, or we only have a hazy idea of, we've heard about apps and things can help us and so on, but we don't quite know what we should be looking for. I think it's quite useful to actually have a mentor for your apps. So you actually pop along to Digital Seniors at your local library on the shore. Every library on the shore has a Digital Seniors session. Find out when those sessions run, pop along, and they'll hook you up with an individual coach. And that person can help you draw up a list of what are the most useful apps for you. And you can work your way through. You can start off with a couple and they can talk you through the process of how to use those apps and get the most out of them.
Yeah.
So that's how I'd recommend you approach working with apps if you haven't had a lot of experience.
It's much better if you just get the ones that are really going to make a difference, rather than it being just random. Because you end up with your phone being full, and then you think, well, which one's which? You know? But there are some really good ones. One, if you've got an Apple phone that I particularly like, is one called ICE. And if you've set that up on an iPhone, it takes in, you're in an emergency, who to contact in an emergency. You can put in your health stuff, the name of the person to contact, all of that information, which is really useful if anything happens. It's amazing what's out there, but it doesn't apply to everybody. You know, there's an app that can help if you're not very well balanced, that can actually pick up if you fall and tell people. You know, it's amazing. There are the banking apps and things like that. Now, some people get really nervous about it, but if you're careful and you have good passwords, then it actually does work. And if you're concerned, go and talk to some of the people from the banks, and they're actually keen now to talk to people and help them to get it straight. We had words with them on Friday, and we explained that it's not just about doing stuff online. We sometimes like to talk to real people, and they're beginning to realise that maybe they went a bit too far in one direction, and hopefully there's going to be some movement in other direction around. Now, what about you? What are your favourite apps? Who's got a favourite app that they use? Anybody? Well, what's your one that you were telling me about?
Oh, I'm good with lots of that.
Well, no, but that was good, that manager apps.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Right, so there's probably a good one, which I'm sure everybody would appreciate here. It's the toilet finder. So I recommend it. You know, it's a free app, and the thing is, you can like sort of plan in advance. So some of the toilet finding apps will only give you the toilet in the area that you are, but this one you can like, you know, click on London, or you can click on Brighton or somewhere like that, and it'll pop up even if you're still here in Auckland where all the local toilets are. And it's in the App Store for both iPhones and Androids, and it's on a white background with two blue people, all right? A his and a hers, all right? So that's quite a good one.
We're going to South America. Is it going to work there?
Well, I don't know if it does the long drops.
I'm a bit worried that you don't have enough to do if you're looking for toilets in London.
Well, anyway, there we go. There was just a bit of a quick question about that My Health one. Can you just remember what it looks like, the app? Is it orange? It's orange. Oh, because the thing is, there are two there, and the orange one only, we're talking about ratings, but the orange one only gets twos, and the other one gets fours, which is, so I didn't know whether the other one works here or not. But it's both called My Health, so that was just for some clarity.
Manage My Health.
I mean, I signed up some time ago, about 2 years ago, when I was newly out of hospital, and I just found it was so valuable for me to be able to get instant information. And also I've got a record, so if anyone, if I have to go anywhere and see anybody I'm not familiar with, like a locum, or I'm in hospital and I'm seeing a different specialist or whatever, I mean, I can have with my phone with me, I can actually check any kind of data and check against the new data that they're producing on the spot. So it's very, very valuable. Yeah. But look, they have made changes recently, and I suddenly got an email one day, which I didn't know whether it was a scam at first. You know that feeling? You can't quite put your finger on, is this for real? But this email was coming from my GP clinic, but it was telling me that I would no longer be able to manage my health unless I paid in advance. I had to pay in advance. And I couldn't quite figure it out, because I thought, well, I don't pay now, so why would I be paying in advance? But what it turned out was they had messaging, standard messaging, that applied to their services, including going to the GP. So it means when you went to the GP, you had to pay for your session in advance. It wasn't anything to do with Manage My Health, but they just packed Manage My Health into the email as well, and that was very confusing. So look, you do have to have your wits about you when anybody emails you anytime about anything, because you can't take anything for granted and just be relaxed and think it's all okay. You do have to check things out. And it's just a fact of life now. It's a pain, but it's how it is.
There's just another thought too. Most phones will actually come with some way of making voice recordings. And I don't know about you, but you go to the doctors, or you go to your solicitor, or you go, to the bank or your financial advisor, and they say so much, and you go, oh, I can't remember any of it. So what I suggest you do is you press the voice memo or the voice recording. You say to them, look, I'm inclined to forget, or I want my family to hear what you're saying. Record it, and then when you go home, you'll see whether you've got to take 2 tablets in the morning or 3 tablets in the evening. The sort of thing that I mean. I'm sure we've all had that. So, that's one that's well worth, and you'll probably find it already installed on your phone.
It's really good to have these things to help you. And there's a couple of other things which are not actually apps per se, but do remember your torch. I was going to a concert actually at the ATA Centre, and something was up with the car park, and so we parked in a car park over the road, and it was a public car park, and it was back in the days before the ATA, where you had to put money in, and the lights had gone out, so it was totally dark, and all these people were young people. It's lovely when you can beat them, but they were wandering around looking lost, and I said, why don't you use the flashlight on your phone? And some of them didn't even know, and I'm thinking, yay, one up for us. And it was great. We put the phone on, and suddenly they had it, which is, is brilliant. The thing is that these phones, when you use the app, they can make your life easier, they can make it more secure. But get advice. Come and talk to one of our coaches, talk to your family and friends, but make sure that before you start loading apps on, work out what do I do and what's going to be a benefit to me. Because that way you'll get the right apps, and you can go onto Google and put in what you want, and they can help you, okay? But don't just get you've got to get that app, because you can end up filling up your phone using data you don't need, and then it becomes detrimental rather than something positive. So I hope that's been helpful. Yeah, the question? Oh, the magnifying glass. Yeah, it's just an app, and when you put it, I'll show you afterwards. Yeah, I've got it on my phone. It's just an app, but when you put it on, I think it goes through your camera, but it magnifies it, and it's brilliant. Because you go into a restaurant and the menu is so tiny and it's dark, you can't see it. But it goes. I have got some here, so if anyone's got any questions afterwards, come and have a look. I'm not a technical expert, but I do have a lot of fun. And please look at the grocery app, because that actually can make a big difference to your grocery bill. To the thing. And I think, any more questions?
The Auckland Library app, you know that one?
Oh, yeah, that's a good one too. Yeah, if you're into libraries.
If you belong to the Auckland Library, you can get an app on your phone which will tell you, Kevin just turned it off, not only to let you manage your checkouts, your holds and your renewals, but you can do things that you may not think you could normally do, like if you go into a bookshop and see a book you like, you can scan the barcode of the book, and the Auckland Library will tell you whether they have that book on hold in the library, and you can put it on hold.
That's brilliant.
Yeah. And it also lets you do many other things, self-service and so on.
That's great.
And it's about, you can find out more about it, look down the other end there, and
Stand at the end.
Can I add on to that? Just another thing I heard from a guy at the men's shed. He's got this app. He likes to go and look at the new books just out in the bookshops. And he'll take a photo of the book and send it on his app, because the more people that send in the same book photo means the more copies the library will purchase. And so you might have 50 people, 100 people on the waiting list, but if they got 10 copies instead of 5, you're going to get it quicker. So you're helping advocate the library buying.
Oh, fantastic. And of course, remember that your camera is your friend. If you're at the doctor's and you're just reading a really nice article and you have to go in, photograph the rest of it and read it later. Recipes, the same. If you're going through it, oh God, that's lovely, but you don't feel like the hairdresser would like it if you stole the magazine, take a photo. That's really useful because sometimes, you know, you just want to have it and keep it with you. And you can take photos of anything if you can't remember and you want to have the recipe or the rest of the article. So I hope that's been a bit of a help to you. Yes?
Who was the digital group in the library?
Sorry?
Who was the digital people in the library?
Oh, the library people are up at the top here. If you talk to them, they'll explain it. Their stand is right at the end.
The opposite end from us.
Opposite end from here. So go and talk to them. There's lots of people around who can help. And they say you can always talk to a digital scenes coach and they can help as well. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Our next talk is at 1:15 about stepping back in time with Auckland libraries and augmented reality. Thank you.
내가 여기 지키고 있을 거니까 왜? 화장실 가려고? 화장실 갔다 저기 가서 밥 먹어. 김밥.
자기야 이거 시작하면 1시부터 넘어서 시작하나 봐. 이거 갖고 돌아다니면서 자기 한번 이렇게 훑어볼래?
지금은 글을 저기가 못 돼. 지금 저기서 사람들이 와서 기다리고 있는데 내가 당신 밥 먹으라고 부르러 온 거거든.
이거 이렇게 하면은 3명 들었다 다 나갔네.
지금 끊어오면 안 돼? 1시에 시작이야. 4분 남았네.
아니 물어봐봐.
지금 소리 들어가는 거야? 그럼 내 소리도 들어가는 거네?
일단 꺼야 되겠다.
I'll meet you back here.